All right, let's take you now to Tshwane, of course, where our reporter Patricia Visagie is. That is, of course, following that top story that we are tracking for you this afternoon in the Tshwane Council, where Mayor Celise Brink is facing a vote of no confidence motion. Patricia, thank you so much for your time. So we do understand, of course, that Council went back a few moments ago after a caucus briefing by political parties. Just talk to us what is currently happening now.
Well, definitely the caucus break was requested by the FF+. They're obviously part of the multi-party coalition, and they said they need to consult their lawyers on various matters. Of course, one of them presumably would be the motion of no confidence that the Tshwane Mayor Celise Brink is facing. They are back. A fierce debate is taking place inside, where, of course, the different political parties are debating the motion after it was successfully tabled by the ANC, and the party went at great length as to why they bringing this motion against Celise Brink. And one of the highlights of that particular argument was the city's crippling finances. The ANC ultimately saying in their motion that Celise Brink has failed to turn around the city's finances. Then there's the issue around the poor service delivery in townships, and that is what came out of the Action SA argument that they brought forward, why they'll be supporting the motion against Celise Brink and ultimately voting against him in perhaps a few minutes from now, or perhaps later this afternoon, depending on how exactly the debates go, and whether there will be another break that might be requested by one of the political parties. And you would know that one of the fights that happened between Action SA and the multi-party coalition was over the strike that happened last year. Of course, a strike that went on for over 4 months over wage increases after Celise Brink refused to pay the workers, despite the fact that there was an agreement that actually stipulated that the city of Tshwane had to pay the Tshwane workers a particular percentage increase, but he said there was no money and he was not going to do so. That obviously affected service delivery severely, but it also affected the DA's relationship with Action SA within the multi-party coalition, because at the time Action SA was also arguing that a lot of the workers are actually, people on the ground. It is the constituency of, in particular, the black political parties or the pro-black political parties, such as Action SA, the EFF, the ANC. And they were saying that this was going to affect them going into the elections. But obviously, as we know, that Celise Brink never barged. He stuck to his guns and he said he will not pay the workers. I'm joined by one of the unions that led some of the protest actions that we saw that obviously caused a lot of chaos at the time, with the unhappy workers also fighting back, fighting for their increases. It's months later since the protests that was predominantly led by SAMU, and at the time, some of the workers also said that Celise Brink must go. He must be removed. Is SAMU still standing by, some of the calls by the workers that he has to go?
Thank you very much. Just a correction there. SAMU didn't lead any strike. Remember, we indicated that SAMU didn't sanction a strike. Workers took it upon themselves to fight for what is due to them, but it was not sanctioned by SAMU. And workers also indicated that they want the mayor to be removed. But as SAMU, we never issued a statement to say we want the mayor to be removed. However, today we are waiting. For us, we believe that this is a light at the end of the tunnel, whereby we may have a new administration that would listen to plight of workers. Remember, the administration of Mayor Celise Brink, we have seen that 2-year increase of workers was not paid. And workers were dismissed without due processes, because even today we're still having 45 people who are dismissed, and the city has taken the matter to Labour Court, and we are still there at Labour Court. It's waiting, no hearing, nothing. People were dismissed. So we believe that with this motion, it may be something that can assist workers. Workers can be remedied from what transpired under the current administration. We are hoping. We are not political. However, political landscape is what is guiding us, and we are hoping that the administration that would be coming after this motion would be the administration that would necessarily do what's right for to employees.
Now, workers are services, or workers are linked to service delivery and vice versa. We've heard the arguments that under the administration of Celia Brink and perhaps the last years that the DA has been in charge of the capital city. Services, in particular in certain areas such as the townships, have dwindled. They're not satisfactory. That comes out from different political parties, whether it's just politics or whether it's the truth. That's a different debate. But from SAMU's side, when you look at things on the ground, as it is your members, some of them who are doing the work, what's your view?
As workers, unfortunately, in most cases we've been raising issues of tools of trade. Had we submitted the memorandum 26 July last year, it would indicate, because in our memorandum, one of the key issues that we were raising was that we don't have tools of trade, and the issue of the municipality utilizing service providers. Those service providers, they are doing what's supposed to be done by employees, and they are the service providers that are being paid a lot of money that's supposed to be paid by employees. For instance, you go to, you see in power stations, we have employees in power stations that are supposed to be running the power stations, but the city is not utilizing them optimally. You have waste, whereby you have employees who are supposed to be doing work at waste, but the city is utilizing service providers to provide that service. So it's not necessarily our members that are not necessarily providing the service, but the municipality, in the manner in which they are providing that service, is a challenge, because they will utilize service providers. We don't have control over employees that are employed by the service providers.
Some of the controversies linked to, in particular, that was the partnership with AfriForum. There was a lot of unhappiness from certain quarters about that particular partnership to deal with service delivery, and that was just before we went into elections. When you talk about service providers, as SAMU, what did you make of the partnership of the city of Tshwane with AfriForum in particular, taking the controversy and the sensitivity into consideration, as many people were unhappy with that?
We were definitely unhappy, but like I said, we are political. We are trying by all means not to enter into a political space. We've been raising issue of service providers with the city, even prior to this administration, the issue of service providers. But the administration that is there is not willing to listen to what we are providing as solutions. AfriForum included. Remember, we can't single out AfriForum, and we are aware that AfriForum is linked to a political party. So we didn't want to dwell much on it, because it was indicated before by the executive mayor to say SAMU is political, SAMU is doing work for the ANC, and that's not true. During the administration of the ANC, we've been raising issues sharply. Even today, should there be an outcome to say the mayor is from the ANC or any other black party, we're going to continue to raise issues of workers sharply. So we were not happy about that.
And if Celia Brink survives, if by any miracle, it looks very slim at this juncture, but should he survive, as SAMU, where would that put your feelings and perhaps your hopes?
We are workers in the city. We are working with anyone who's running the administration. We've been working with Brink, even if we were not happy there and there, but we've been working and we've been communicating with him. We've been knocking in his door to raise certain issues. We'll continue to do that. However, we are hoping for a new administration so that our employees can come back, so that our salary increases can be paid, because we are not going to let that go. We still want that salary increase.
So basically, whoever takes power must prioritize that.
Exactly.
All right, thank you so much. Of course, Samu, you would know that the issue around salary increases remains a hot potato for the Tshwane workers, and rightfully there from Samu, them saying whoever takes up the reins in Tshwane needs to make sure that this is one of their priority points. And of course, them also mentioning that should Celia Brink survive to lead another day, then of course this is one of their hopes as well, that he might reconsider and reopen up talks with the unions and see what can they actually conclude and maybe find a new deal as that is a priority. But as I have mentioned, all eyes are on the Tshwane Council as that debate is taking place to see what will happen. How will the Tshwane councillors vote? Will we have a new Tshwane mayor in days to come? Will this be the last Tshwane sitting for Celia Brink as Tshwane mayor? Or will things flip? The ANC has made it very clear that they are not making a U-turn, and Action SA saying they are backing them, the EFF right behind them as well. So we wait to see exactly how does the coin flip on this one.
And that is the question, Patricia Visagie, there for us. Question is, of course, will we be seeing a new mayor in the city of Tshwane in a few days' time? Patricia Visagie, of course, just looking at all the angles and all the, anomalies that face us now and inform essentially the motion of no confidence against Tshwane Mayor Celia Brink. Council members, as Patricia has indicated, are currently debating that motion before voting commences. And of course, we will definitely keep tabs on this particular story.